Happy New Year, Surf family. Great to have you here for the first Surf family meet. I am Priyank Agarwal, co-founder and CEO of Surf, and with me is Shivam Tandon, founder and CEO. Now, these meets are our monthly checkpoint with the Surf family. Not really a broadcast. We keep it very relaxed, informative, and transparent. The idea here is to share what we shipped, what we learned, what is next, and keep the feedback loop tight as we enter the growth phase. So here's today's meet agenda, and we will start with multiple things on our agenda today. First being founder context and journey, then comes where Surf stands today, later about security and how we think about it in Surf, then why Surf is winning and why this is repeatable. Later we'll talk about how the Surf flywheel works, and then in the end, what changes are we bringing in the Surf ecosystem from January. So let's get into it. So starting with the founder context and journey, I want to give everyone the founder context behind Surf. This matters. Why? Because Surf is not a quick experiment. It is the result of years of compounding and hard work. So Shivam, over to you.
Thanks, Priyank. Happy New Year, everyone. So let me start with some context because Surf did not really come out of nowhere. My background is into dual engineering, like from the UK. I started with a traditional Web2 as a design engineer in automotive, off-road racing. Then in 2012, I launched my first business, exited in 2014, and then went deep into crypto. So in 2016, I began with mining Ethereum and Coin. Mining was steady but slow. So I moved into trading. So in the 3 months, I made more than I had in my previous 5 years combined. So that was a moment I left everything Web2 completely and jumped onto Web3. So as friends and family wanted exposure to crypto, but I never really wanted to manage their funds manually. So in 2016, we built one of the first Telegram-based automated trading solutions, and it scaled fast with over 45 million in volume in less than 3 months and 145 million in the next 2 years during the entire bear market. So that experience shaped one of the core beliefs that automation removes complexity and unlocks scale. So everything that I have built since then has been about making on-chain finance usable for normal day-to-day people, and Surf is the consumer product of that journey. So let me start with the problem statement. So as you know, DeFi has massive opportunities, but experience is completely brutal. To earn yield today, you need to bridge chains, pick protocols, monitor APIs, manage risk, rebalance position, and literally babysit everything. And most people simply don't do this. So billions of dollars sit in idle on-chain capital on exchanges, or people chase through memes, and even institutions and DAOs struggle to manage yield responsibly at scale. And this is exactly the gap Surf fixes at scale. So the solution, Surf is a non-custodial AI agent that manages yield end-to-end. Uses deposit once, choose a risk profile, and Surf handles allocation, rebalancing, execution, monitoring. Funds always sit in user-controlled smart vaults that you own, and Surf never really takes that custody. It only executes on your vault. So instead of learning DeFi, users can interact with an agent that works for them literally around the clock. Next is strategy. So we expose Surf's intelligence through different strategies tuned for different risk profiles. So number one, Horizon. This is where we allocate funds through different lending pools or protocols across chains. We are already live on Base. So Horizon is very conservative with stable growth. It is designed for capital that wants consistency and complete preservation of funds. Velocity, our second strategy, is basically the agent takes your funds through different Uniswap V3 style pools where the performance is a lot higher. It is managed actively around the clock, rotating across liquidity and different yield opportunities on dexes, where the TVL is massive as compared to lending. Apex is exactly what we were doing like back in like 2016, 17. It is more aggressive, research driven, and for people who have their portfolio but they don't really have the time or expertise to manage it end to end. From the outside, it feels simple. Pick the kind of ride you want. Under the hood, everything runs on the same execution engine and infrastructure. So as Serve grows, this does not stop here. We'll be launching several more strategies across different risk profiles, assets, conditions. So like long term, we also have plans that users will be able to build and curate their own strategies using Serve's intelligence engine, which is powered by ZK Cross's execution layer. So the same system that runs our strategies will be available for users who want to have more control without needing to completely rebuild the infrastructure or manage execution themselves. So like one of the biggest question as a founder is the timing needs to be right, and it actually matters as well. So now the entire DeFi ecosystem has matured. Stablecoins, treasuries, RWAs are completely on chain, and at the same time, AI agents are becoming the default interface for complex systems. And this is literally the first cycle where liquidity, infrastructure, and AI align to make something like Surf work at scale. So how it works? So Surf runs on top of ZK Cross's chain abstraction infrastructure, which we have built over the past 3 years. We have like got grants from like one of the leading blockchains, and we proved our execution through them. So the AI or Surf scans different lending markets, liquidity venues across chains, scores them on risk and return, and routes capital through our cross-chain rails. So every action is cross-chain, transparent, and is monitored for risk in real time. So users see a very simple dashboard with API, and behind that, everything is fully executed end-to-end in an automated manner. And the engine takes care of pretty much the entire execution end-to-end. So next, let's dive into the journey of Surf, as this like did not happen overnight. So it is the 8 years of my personal journey as a founder. So phase one was all about trading at scale and proving that it works, which was more of an MVP, where we did 145 million in volume in less than like 2.5 years. Phase two was building the DeFi chain abstraction infrastructure, which did not exist at that time. So we spent a few years like secured grants from one of the leading EVM and like non-EVM blockchains. We created the infrastructure, audited it, completely bootstrapped. Then phase three, like which happened at the start of this year, where AI agents became real. And so we integrated AI agents into our own infrastructure so that the entire automation of like different complexities of DeFi that can be taken care of end to end without the user needing to learn all the technicals and stuff that goes around in DeFi. So phase four, which came in July this year, as stablecoin like regulations like came into place, it became real, and the demand for on-chain yield accelerated. Like this is where we like decided that AI can now finally do like whatever we were like trying to do back in like 2017, and hence we launched Surf on our existing infrastructure, and it came from idea to pretty much live in under like 4 to 6 weeks. So this every phase de-risks the next, and like here we are, agent is fully live and operational, which is a dream like that I started almost 8 years ago. Dive into like one of our the biggest moat. So Surf is not just an app on third-party infrastructure. So we own our own infrastructure, the execution layer, and intelligence. So that stack has already processed over 140 million in volume across hundreds and thousands of transactions. So most teams bolt AI on top of someone else's infrastructure, whereas we run AI on infrastructure that we own. And this is like one of the biggest moat that Surf has in the market. So about traction, across like ZK Cross and Surf, we've done more than 140 million in volume, more than 240,000 transactions. Around like 50,000 people have already used us. We have generated revenue of around like 1.3 million. And we have also secured grants from one of the leading blockchains in the ecosystem. So Surf is now focused consumer and like treasury facing product on top of the foundation that we've spent the last 3 years in building. GTM. So like let me spend a bit more time on GTM, because this is where the next phase really opens up. So our first wave of growth comes from ecosystem we are already integrated with. So these include blockchains, agent ecosystem, treasuries that already hold idle capital on chain. So in these environments, Surf becomes the default yield layer, and they bring users and TVLs, and Surf gives them the automated yield, risk managed execution, and keeps capital inside their ecosystem without leading out of it. The entire capital efficient growth with no heavy CACs, no noise, just distribution through partners that already trust our infrastructure, and we already have those relations with them that we've spent the last 3 years in building. Next, the second wave adoption, where we would cross more than 100 million in TVL, comes from institutions, DAOs, treasuries. This means that automated yield strategies with reporting controls and eventually fund management licenses layered on top. Then for retail, this means simple on-ramps, set to forget experience where users don't need to understand DeFi. They can just come and earn yield. Then in the same engine underneath, what changes is the wrapper, the access point, and the entire compliance layer as well. Competitors, let me call this out with names because I think it matters. So when you look at players like Arma, Zi-Fi, Mamo, they're not owning their own rails. They're building on top of third-party infrastructure and existing protocols. That can work at smaller scale, but it creates ceiling fast, execution costs, routing constraints, bridging, slower reaction to time, more places where things can actually break. Surf is different because it sits on our own infrastructure, that we've built ourselves. So we have complete control over it, which includes vaults, routing, cross-chain execution, and safety rails. So Surf is not just picking strategies, it's actually controlling how the entire capital moves end to end. So this is the point of the most agents protocols generally stop, whereas Surf owns the entire stack. And this is why it scales and stays. APYs and returns are repeated end to end as well. Then moving on to our ecosystem partners, we're really proud to say that we have been incubated, accelerated by Cointelegraph, Brink, and Blockchain Founders Fund. So we also raised a pre-seed round last year where NextGen, Marsdog, Greenlight, IBC took part. And we have also secured grants from Stellar, Arbitrum, Parisha, and ICP. We also have GSR for market making, Halpon for security, and all these amazing leading crypto AI ecosystems as a partners. So moving on to team. So we are a founder-heavy team with real-world execution behind us. Actually, Priyank, why don't you give a brief about the background and the team?
Yeah, right. Hello again, guys. I'm Priyank, co-founder and chief operating officer at Surf, and I'm part of the founding team behind ZK Cross Network. So I've spent the last few years building in the crypto space, starting with cross-chain infra, then evolving into what we are doing with Surf now. If you look at my previous background, personally, I come from building and scaling startups across markets, be it Oyo Rooms in Asia or Aroa Venture Capital Fund several years back. Talking about our CTO, Soneshwar, he has been building in the blockchain space since the early Ethereum days and scaled a technology org to over 100 people in the past few years. Also, our fourth founding member of the team, Ali, he is our chief commercial officer. He has grown consumer-facing products in more than 75,000 users and around over 2 million in ARR. So if you look at our backgrounds, what matter here is not really titles, but actually pattern recognition. We know how to build, we know how to ship and scale under pressure. And we have already done it once with this stack. So eventually, Surf is not our first execution challenge. It's the most focused expression of everything we have learned so far from our past build-ups. Now, moving on to, where we want Surf to go ahead and where it stands today. Let us ground this in reality and talk about where Surf objectively stands today. And I would again want Shivam to, take over the conversation and walk us through it.
Yeah, sure. So Surf is live on Base. So we chose Base because that's where the entire competition in AI agentic ecosystem is. This is where capital is active at the moment. But we wanted to prove our performance in the hardest environment first and then expand from strength elsewhere. So over the last few weeks, Surf has stopped the independent comparisons, delivering the highest APY in the market. So that headline number has two parts. So one is base yield from real on-chain avenues. This is the sustainable foundation. And the second is Surf League's incentives layered on top. So we also shipped V3, which improved execution efficiency, made Surf fully cross-chain ready. That matters because it is the version that supports scaling across multiple assets, multiple chains without breaking the performance. So today, Surf is live, battle tested, performance leading, ready to expand this year.
Right. So now, Shivam, before we talk about moats and scale, we need to also address the most important topic here, and I think that is security. People should understand how Surf is designed to protect funds and what safeguards exist beyond just good intentions of the team. Right, Shivam, take it away.
Security is the foundation for us. It's not just something that we do. I mean, this is something that is the core of whatever we do. So first, Surf is built on ZK Cross Network's core contracts, which are already audited by Halcon. So we're using the same words, same execution rails. Did not spin up a fresh, untested system for Surf. Secondly, we do not let the AI act freely. I mean, this is something which I think we should market more because it's very unique to us in how we have executed the entire engine. So between the AI agent and protocols sit our guardian layer. Think of it like a strict safety controller. So every action proposed by the AI is checked against predefined rules and risk limits. So if something looks rogue, it is rejected straight away. And as the agent matures, we choose to loosen the constraints gradually. So this is what helped us go to market from idea to conception really fast because we didn't spend months and loads amount of data to train the AI agent. We actually created a way that AI agents can be shipped a lot faster. Then third, user funds are fully non-custodial and sits in a smart vault owned by the user. And there is no path for the funds to move anywhere else except back to the wallet that created the vault. Fourth, if the protocol shows risk, Surf is designed to withdraw automatically before even a user could react manually. And finally, security is not one time. Audits are expensive and slow to do frequently. So we built an internal auditing AI agent that scans the execution paths, contract behavior, pretty much around the clock. And we plan to ship that publicly as well because it's really amazing tech and it monitors all the different contracts, changes, hacks in real time and safeguards and gives notifications in real time. Something like this doesn't really exist at the moment in the market, and auditing is something that we do pretty much on daily basis. The short version, we assume things to go wrong, and Surf is designed to limit risk and end users first.
All right. Now that the security part is clear, the next question is about performance. Not just is it high, but is it repeatable? Why is Surf winning, and why does this not collapse as TVL grows? So what do you think, Shivam?
Core differentiator is execution. I think most agents route capital on third-party infrastructure. I think that works at small scale, but as the funds grow, capital grows, you hit high slippage, transactions failing, the rebalances eat your yield. So this is why the agents cap out pretty early. And in DeFi, strategies are public. Everyone sees the same pools, the rates, lending rates. So the differentiator is how effectively and safely you can move capital across chains or even across different protocols. And Surf owns the full execution stack. So just to repeat, vaults, routing, cross-chain rails, monitoring, and safety controls. So we're not renting out execution, we're actually controlling it. And this is why results are repeated day in, day out, not luck, but there is a core infra behind that. And this is why Surf scales in a very different manner as compared to any other agent in the market. And V3 was designed so that the same engine can expand into new assets, new chains, without rebuilding the entire system each time.
Right, right, right. Okay. Now let us talk about how value flows through the system, because this is where surf becomes more than a yield number. So, Shivam, can you explain the flywheel in the most simplest terms?
Yeah, sure. Flywheel is something that we're really excited about, and I think not many people understand it today. So users deposit capital, Surf generates on-chain yield. On top of that, users earn Surfleaks XP, which boosts the entire end APY. Then users can increase this boost even further by simple actions like staking Surf, trading Surf, or even referring their friends and family. So the more XP, the higher APY. So there is no limit to the amount of APY that you can earn as a user. At protocol level, Surf takes 10% fees on the yield like that is generated. But here's the key: 100% of that revenue goes to buy back Surf from the open market. So no supply inflation narrative. This is real value accrual at scale. So if you stake Surf, you earn a 12 to 18% APY. So if you are both depositing funds and staking, you pretty much get the entire agent fees returned through staking and the buybacks over time. And this is what alignments look like at scale as well. So we are not inflating the entire tokenomics, whereas we are creating a way so that the entire end like value can be accrued and users can literally like get their funds managed for entirely free.
Right. Now, Surf family, everything you've heard so far explains the build phase of Surf. Now, the real question is what changes from January? So, Shivam, what is the shift?
So see, until now, almost everything was all about de-risking execution. We bring in years of experience in like entrepreneurship, startup ecosystem. So this phase was very important for us. We stayed lean. We shipped like, quietly, proving that the system with real users and real capital. This year is the shift into growth mode from being completely developing the product. Now is where the growth entirely starts. So V3 unlocked cross-chain for us with the complete execution end to end. So now we expand on these three funds. So number one, multi-asset support. We are adding ETH, BDC, and then eventually BNB and all the different native tokens of blockchains. On top of different stable coins, at the moment we only have USDC live, USDT, and other major stable coins like that are coming in the market. Second, chain expansion with the ecosystem where we already have relationships and infrastructure ready, like Arbitrum, Avalanche, BNB, Stellar, and there are many more. Number three is distribution through ecosystems, LP partners, and agent networks that already have the idle capital. So everything so far was about making execution solid, repeatable, and this year is where the scale happens.
Understood. So, the last section before we wrap up this meet, and probably I think the one question everyone is waiting for: what is the biggest alpha coming up this month?
Yeah, all right. I mean, so like keeping this as a teaser, but I want to give you a real glimpse of what is coming, and this is major. So, like Surf started as a yield agent for a reason, but it is the simplest wedge, and it solves a very real problem for stablecoin holders. But I have more than 13 years of trading experience in the ecosystem. I've been managing funds over the years at scale. So this is something where I think other agent teams also lack the core trading experience. So over here, the vision is a lot bigger. It's not just yield. The bigger vision is agentic execution with intelligence end to end. So this month, I think the biggest alpha is that the Surf is partnering with Forever Money, and we're bringing a new layer into the engine, what we internally call as SN98 strategy. Also very similar to the velocity strategy that we have. So the headline is the Surf is moving from being a yield optimizer to being a prediction-driven execution engine. So most agents today are reactive. They rotate based on what already is visible, like current APYs, incentive utilization, that works, but caps out really fast. SN98 strategy is different. It adds a predictive model layer that anticipates where yield and liquidity will move next, then positions ahead of it. So instead of asking where the best yield is right now, the agent starts asking where will be the best risk adjusted yield be next. And the real unlock is where this runs. So SN98 is built to manage millions of TVLs across different CLM dexes across chains. So when you put that kind of capital through tight automated execution loops, everything moves fast. TVL ramps, user like transactions spike, volume grows, and the entire sub ecosystem accelerates in a very short span of time. So yes, Surf is already the highest grossing agent in the market today, but what is coming next is even bigger. The yield was the entry point, but SN98 is Surf stepping into predictive high-scale execution.
Before we wrap up this meet, one last thing for the Surf family. We will be announcing the Surf reward winners from the community questions after this call. And just to close this out on a bigger note. Guys, we genuinely believe the next phase of DeFi will not be about dashboards, tabs, and manual strategies. It will be about agents acting on behalf of users. Surf is that agent. CK Cross is the engine behind it. The infrastructure is live, the product is live, the numbers are real, and the timing aligns perfectly with where the market is heading towards. So in the end, thank you for building with us, questioning us, and backing us early. This is just the beginning. See you on stream.
Thank you so much, guys. Happy New Year. See
Thanks,
you.
guys.